This is Matrix Lord 212 and welcome to the Real Whovians cast. Hello everybody. So please assist me because if you can't hear me right, let me know. I am in the process of getting a microphone or something. I was told that people can't hear me correctly, so I kind of want to update my equipment so I can do these podcasts, these live streams. The reason why I am here is because there was a video put up by Clownfish. Now, I'm not doing this video to bash Clownfish. I think they're good people. I don't always agree with what they say, so we agree to disagree. But I just wanted to say about this rumor that Ncuti Gatwa is banned from Doctor Who, that it's complete and utter nonsense. People leave the show all the time. People exit, people quit. But in 2025, people want it to be with drama and they want to add to the story or make a new story out of nothing, add some sentences, add to some stuff. Doctor Who is quiet now. There's nothing to talk about, literally. People are starving for Doctor Who content. And I don't force the issue. I don't talk about it because, again, nothing is going on. But I'm not just doing that to talk about the Clownfish article anyway. But that being said, Ncuti Gatwa is allowed to leave the role like everyone else has without there being repercussions. He has been in conventions after that. He's been promoting the show without being on the show after that. He's been in an interview talking about how he would want to still fight a Dalek, and he may do that with Jamie Lee Curtis after he left the role. So please, please, please do not give yourself a story. Now that saying comes from Sharon, by the way, because that's Sharon's line that I'm giving her credit for. She always tells me stuff like that. Don't give yourself a story. Okay? If there's no story there, there's no story there. But people are trying to make a story there. Okay? There is no story. There is no bad blood with Ncuti Gatwa, with Doctor Who, with Russell, with Bad Wolf. None of that. All right? So that's one thing. All right? They don't know what happened. So someone's making crap up. There was another video some guy did the other day, was trying to tell his viewers that he got an inside source from Bad Wolf themselves saying that Ncuti Gatwa was signed into 2028, like multiple seasons, like beyond season 4, like season 5. That's ridiculous. That is not true at all. Complete and utter nonsense. There's no one from Bad Wolf that said that, period. That is totally a lie. And you know that if you follow Doctor Who, that most of the times they do 3 seasons and they're out. And this is a change because him leaving before the 3rd season that he does was like shocking. Okay? So no, that's not true. All right? They did want him to do season 3. He wanted to do season 3. They cut him from saying it because there would have been a PR nightmare that they thought. Because again, stuff behind the scenes, they thought by putting that out there and them not talking to him yet would have been a massive problem. So that's why they cut that from Graham Norton. And they cut it. Disney Plus had them cut it, not BBC, because they said it wasn't them. So there was something. David Blyth, giving him credit, sent me something on Facebook at 1 in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, to let me know that Peter Davison and Janet Fielding were filming something. It was probably for the box set that they're doing. I think. That's the only thing I can think of, unless they're doing a Tales of the TARDIS, which, to be fair, Bad Wolf and Russell had said something on Sunday that they're doing something. Don't know what the hell that is. So you could speculate till the cows come home, but I don't have any information for you on that. All right. Also, I wasn't gonna say anything, but I feel it's not fair to you for me not to say it. Okay. I've always been upfront with you guys. I've always been honest with you guys. I let you know what's going on behind the scenes, and I decided to make this statement. So again, I understand that there's nothing going on with Doctor Who. I'm quiet. A lot of people are quiet. And then there's some that are trying to do Doctor Who content and they're struggling and they're just putting any little thing they hear, and that's fine. But I did give one of my old shows to some people, Prime You, but that was it. I did never gave permission for anyone of my group to use the Everything Show, and there was no documentation that shows that. That's why I gave them something I wasn't using anymore to keep permanently. So that was given to them, Prime You. Okay, back in the day, gave it to Sammy Carter. Now I gave it to them permanently to do whatever they wanted, and I can never interfere with that. And I gave it to them. They own it. Blah blah blah. That being said, don't be greedy. If I'm being nice to you, I'm putting you on my podcast, and you're a member, don't be greedy. You got one podcast. If you can't promote that podcast with only one episode or two, you don't be like, oh, maybe if I had the Everything Show, maybe I would have views. No, because I never gave anybody permission. When Jack asked me, would I come on to help promote Prime U, I said, sure, I would support them. I would promote Prime U. Never said I was giving them the Everything Show. Never told Louis I was giving him the Everything Show. They did that. And again, they did it and they disrespected me. And again, one of the rules of the Whovians cast members is you don't disrespect me and you don't disrespect fellow members. That has been a rule since the beginning of Matrix Lord 212 time. Okay? If I'm nice to you and you're a member of my show, you don't bash me. I know there's nothing to talk about in the UK. And I know they're from the UK and they're from, on the other side of the world. And I don't know, maybe that's how they don't have a sense of disrespect over there. I don't know, or respect. But to bash me on something I gave you and then steal like my show for popularity because you got 7 views or 10 views and you wanted to get popular, so you wanted to trick the world into thinking I gave you the Everything Show. I mean, we did the Everything Show 2097. Me, Chris, Billy, and Scott. And I didn't invite people from the UK because we did it in the wee hours of the morning, which would have meant they were sleeping. So I was trying to be kind. And they got mad or whatever, and they decided they were going to put 2098 the next day, which interfered with my plans for 2098. Right? So one thing I don't want is people to confuse and not knowing what's going on. Why is there 2 Everything Shows? No, it's mine. It's always been mine. Didn't give them permission. And they went on to disrespect. And not only disrespect me, but disrespect fellow members. And I got to tell you, if you were trying to get me canceled, that's what you do. They said every horrible word in the book, every horrible controversy to try to stir trouble to destroy my brand. And one of them was pointed out that he was a troll for years, since he gave me a negative review on my books because he was mad at me at one point in time. And I always knew since then never to trust him. But I had him on my show. He talked to and said what he wanted. He presented the news from himself and different things. But I always was not 100% trusting that person. And when I called him out, because I'm like, why are you trying to start trouble? Why are you trying to get me to fight this one or that one or that one? You're sending me, and I didn't tell them that he was doing that, but they just told him a lie, like I mentioned him and I didn't. But he starts flipping out, like, I told you in confidence, whatever. I'm like, I didn't say anything, but I know you're a freaking troll. And what did he do? Immediately, the racism comes into it. Immediately, the discrimination comes into it. Oh, you're a stupid American. You don't know anything. Puts me down every which way. That's fine. I want to put down my weight. Then he mentions my president of the United States. Well, gee, buddy, I didn't really mention your fucking leaders, but you got some fucking winners in your country. But whatever, okay? I knew I had your fucking number from day one. That's why I created a whole fucking file on you since you fucking trolled the last time. All right? So stop. Okay? Grow the fuck up. You're not a fucking kid. You're what, 20s, 30s? Grow the fuck up. Right? There's nothing to talk about with Doctor. Grow the fuck up. You guys never fucking grew up. Fucking man babies. So you want to go on and you want to and they wanted to do my other show, Who Fire, and I said no. I said, if you're going to do your own thing, you call it Louis Fire or some shit. I don't care about that. But you think you have to fucking vent, call it after yourself. Don't steal my shit. So, and then they ranted. It's fucking gross, disgusting. And you know what? I didn't say anything because I'm like, but you know what? It's getting worse and I need to say something. So they're fired. Okay. They've been fired. And that's the end of that. And I don't like it. I don't like, if I find out anybody in my group was trolling, they're out. So I can't preach if someone from their group was trolling me, whether they do something about it or not, I don't know. And it's not my business. But my group, if that's what's going on, fired. I don't care if you've been on 1,000, 2,000 casts. If you fucking trolling in this community and you're trolling even my enemies, absolutely not. I don't tolerate that behavior. So if I have enemies and I have words with my enemies, I have words with my enemies. I don't have my group go after them. Now there's other people, there's another offshoot connected with me, my agents, like these group of college people that big fans of me, and they scour the internet to see people disrespecting me. And I said I don't want no hostility. Don't attack people. Don't whatever. I have no control what they do. They're doing whatever they're doing, but I'm like, please don't, no fighting, no nothing. They're fans. So you'll see agents pop up. Agents of Matrix Lord 2 and 2. That's their group, like Linda Wild or whatever you have in the UK. That's their group. But it's been quiet, guys. It's been quiet. Why don't you just leave it alone? I know you want to hear about Doctor Who, and I want to talk about Doctor Who, but don't force it. If there's nothing to talk about, don't talk about it. All right, I did this podcast because I was going to talk about the Peter Davison thing anyway. But if you don't have the ingredients, you can't make the recipe. That's it. So people come and go in the Real Whovians cast, and that's fine. But I don't tolerate infighting either. Don't stop disrespecting members. Really messed up. And I also had that in the past. I had to deal with after we had the election that one member attacked the other member because of who they voted for, which was absolutely, to this day, disgraceful. that she gave him such disrespect and nasty shit she said all over Facebook. He told me about it. I did not tolerate that. And whether she's been on or not lately, she's gone and fired and done. I don't like if you can't separate people that other people vote for, like you try to make it like if they are that person, you're dumber than a fucking brick. Honestly, I'm blunt and I've always been blunt. So don't be that fucking stupid. Okay. That being said, I do want to say something else. I've been doing my gaming thing. You know that I've been busy. I've been trying to work on my new book. You know that. You know my heart is with Doctor Who. You know I love Doctor Who. You know I will talk about Doctor Who when I can. Okay. Now people have had me on their shows. I've been on the Nostalgia Podcast talking about 70s sitcoms. I've been interviewed for my gaming about beating a coon that time, and I've been on other stuff talking about my gaming. I've been on a couple of years ago, Channel One News, New York One News, or Spectrum News, or whatever it was called, talking about a project I was working on. They had interviewed me in 2 segments, and they put it on a Saturday night with the whole group of stuff that they filmed their music video and stuff. So I do things. I write articles. I'm in magazines, either writing articles or stuff that's done about me, my books, or my gaming, or whatever. And I did appear recently on Locale Live. I had a good time. And you know, that's it, pretty much. I'm open to appearing different places. But I don't appreciate. I know I was talking to some friends and my members and my kids about, you know, when I appeared on Locale Live. And again, at the end of the day, I make a decision on whether I appear or not, and it shouldn't really bother anybody. I had fun, and I was very blunt with them and told them that it's an honor, but I'm too busy. I'm doing my stuff in my gaming, and I don't even know where I would have time. Honest answer. Did I want to join them? I wasn't really thinking I wanted to join them. No, and nothing against them. I have my group, Whovians, and I didn't want anything to interfere with that. And I do my videos, and I didn't want anything to do with that, or my gaming, or my whatever. And that's it. There's nothing wrong with that. There was no reason, no negativity behind it. It was an honor, and I scratched it off my bucket list that I got to appear with Boogie and Keemstar. That was great. Thank you for having me. Sorry about my microphone, which I'm going to take steps personally to improve my brand and improve my, show. And I took some constructive criticism from them, and I will be buying new equipment so I could better serve you on Doctor Who news and gaming and stuff like that. So thank you for giving me that critique, and I'm much appreciated about that. Because at the end of the day, I don't want when I podcast for it to be a horrible experience for anybody. I'm trying to entertain. I'm trying to make my people happy. So if you can't hear me or you can't see me correctly, yes, I will be working on lighting. I saw Wings had his set up, so I may adapt something similar. Yes, I'm going to get a microphone or a headset or something and turn this into a real, studio, my studio basically. So, at the end of the day, unless you hear anything from me, don't think the worst when it comes to me. Like if people had any questions about me or any questions about what's going on in my group, I'm always blunt and I always say it. I didn't want to air dirty laundry because, I was trying to avoid anything, but it seems like in the background, people don't know how to act. And in an attempt for them to be famous, former members of my group, they are going too far and disrespectful, so they are fired. Done. And I don't look back. Don't even care. Done. Sorry, but not sorry. So, you may not hear me talk about Doctor Who for a while. I don't know. I mean, I know that Bad Wolf had said something yesterday, and Russell said something with them that something is cooking, I guess, in the oven. What are they cooking? Is it Doctor Who? Probably, but I'm not going to say unless I actually know. You know, I'm not even going to speculate either. Like, unless I hear it from directly my source, and I'm not talking side sources either. I'm talking my main source. If I don't hear from my main source, I'm not reporting. And I'm well aware that people are trying to feed me bullshit. I know the trolling when I see it. And just a little hint, by the way. A little hint for those people. It's nice that you're trying to convince me and brainwash me or something, but when I send like 2 messages on Russell T. Davis's Instagram and he likes it, and I say to him, there's still time to do a Christmas special, he's not going to like it. He's not going to say anything if he's not with Doctor Who. Just putting that out there. I know there's a lot of bullshit going on that he's been let go as showrunner. Yeah. And people trying to feed that to me, hoping that I would do a cast about it. No. So I wasn't born yesterday. All right. And those people from my own group, yeah, nice try. Didn't happen. And honestly, if he wasn't with Doctor Who, he would say it a lot out because he wouldn't want to be asked about it. So he'd be like, I'm no longer with that project. He didn't say that. So don't believe the bullshit that Russell Davis is gone as showrunner unless he says it. And don't believe the bullshit that Disney Plus is gone unless they say it. And they will say it. If they're done, if Disney is done with Doctor Who, BBC will say it immediately. Immediately. Or they'll wait a little bit, but they'll still say it. Somebody will say something, or you'll see something. So there's no way that Disney and Doctor Who could be separated if it was delayed, the spinoff, till 2026. So that means that the partnership continues, the adventure continues into 2026. So there's nothing to talk about in 2025 that they're done, because they're not. I don't care if people said from their source in January that Disney was done with Doctor Who, and then other podcasters are going, replicating that Disney is done with Doctor Who, and this is not happening, and the Christmas special is not happening. I don't know, Shooty Gat was gone. First of all, let me just reiterate this too. Okay, just because something was never done doesn't mean it's not going to be done. Okay, with the way Disney Plus has handled the situation, I'm not proud of it. But unless I see the regeneration complete, as in real, as in they acknowledged what we saw as the Doctor, then that's not the Doctor. I didn't think Billy Piper was the Doctor. I think it was just a cliffhanger moment to just fuel speculation. There was nothing for it. The TARDIS was off for some reason. No power at all. Something came through. Shields are down. Something came through. The shields were literally down. TARDIS turned off so that way it didn't get messed up with the regeneration energy. Whatever, totally shut down. Knew what he was doing. Please don't do it in the TARDIS now. Please don't destroy my console. Go outside. And Shooty Guy was like this. TARDIS is completely off. No shielding. No nothing. Something came through. Bad Wolf, Rose Tyler, the moment something came through. Something switched places with the Doctor. It says introducing Billy Piper. It does not say she's the Doctor. They had no intention of her being the Doctor. They just had her go in there and confuse the crap out of you. And as far as I'm concerned, And this is gonna create controversy, and I know people are gonna be talking about what I have to say, and I don't care. Unless I see the regeneration complete, and in the credits they say introducing blank as the Doctor. Billy Piper's not the Doctor, and guess what? Ncuti Gatwa, the 15th Doctor, is still the Doctor in my eyes, unless I see a new Doctor in his place. Sorry, but that's reality. That's the reality war, baby. Unless I see the change wasn't complete. Was it teleportation? Maybe. Body swapping like Sarah Jane Adventures, Death of the Doctor, where the 11th Doctor switched places with Clyde. And you saw like even Clyde's hands was white because they were like in the middle of switching. So is it possible that Rose Tyler is in the Doctor's clothes? Yeah. Yeah, but she's not the Doctor, as far as I'm concerned. And as far as I'm concerned, the 15th Doctor is transported where Billy Piper's character was. Whether if she's the Rose Tyler, then he's with the Metacrisis Doctor right now, or that universe, Torchwood, or whatever. Or if that's the Moment or Bad Wolf, then he's somewhere. Somewhere. Is a possibility that the Daleks are involved? I would say it's like over 50% because Bad Wolf destroyed the Daleks. Rose Tyler destroys the Daleks. The Moment is a weapon, but she would probably destroy the Daleks too. So, being that the Time Lords tried to alter the Daleks for development, so yeah, they would all destroy the Daleks. And if Bad Wolf returned or Rose Tyler returned or whatever, the Daleks might be involved, yeah. Which would make sense that Ncuti Gatwa said, I think I'm going to go fight a Dalek, because if there was one more story, that would be the story with the Daleks. That's what Ncuti Gatwa would get. They would film it, and then we conclude your regeneration, just like Peter Capaldi's Doctor was regenerating 3 episodes. Okay? So I strongly see that as a possibility. Is that happening? I didn't say it is, but I strongly believe that's a possibility. And the way it was educated to me from my BBC source, for me not to believe that they're not allowed to film without Disney Plus, and they could still be in partnership with Disney Plus, but film an episode of Doctor Who or a special. Yeah, you educated me. Okay. But my answer to that is, well, if you're allowed to do that, why haven't you done it? Why have you done it? If you can, then do it. Why haven't you done it? Unless you're going to do it. Now, we know that Children in Need is coming up. I'm pretty sure you're going to see something with Billy Piper. And if not, you're going to see something with Doctor Who. If you asked me, do I think we would ever see David Tennant again? I would say 99.9%. Yeah. In Doctor Who, yeah. Almost 100%. 99.9% I believe we will see David Tennant as the Doctor again, whether it be the animated thing coming up, the 14th Doctor animated or 10th Doctor animated or Metacrisis animated Doctor, but yes, I do believe we will see David Tennant again. If you ask me, do you think Jodie Whittaker will return again in Doctor Who? I would say 75% yeah. Why? Well, there is the thing called the Timeless Child, and that was brought up during her tenure as the Doctor. So if you're going to clean that up, she would have to appear. Now, there is also the mystery of Joe Martin's fugitive Doctor. And again, if you're to believe the TARDIS, because the TARDIS showed the order, there were no doctors before 1. And when the 15th Doctor was looking at the order, The fugitive doctor came after the 13th Doctor. And then they showed the 14th Doctor. So that leads me to believe that at some point in time in the future, I am speculating that the TARDIS had pulled the 13th Doctor out of time. Something went wrong. She regenerated into the fugitive Doctor. And whoever is in the story has to get the fugitive Doctor to revert back to the 13th Doctor without knowing it, and that where she could just appear and regenerate into 14 without no problems. So they would have to erase her memory, get her to regenerate, and you don't know the what. You don't know anything else. That's it. Like, she wouldn't know it, wouldn't interfere with the timeline. So that's what I strongly believe. I strongly believe, my heart, that Joe Martin's Doctor comes after Jodie Whittaker, and there was some cross event where multi-doctor story. She gets killed. She regenerates into the fugitive. All the other doctors are in shock that this happens, witnessing the regeneration, and they're like, the timeline's going to be destroyed. We have to fix it. We have to fix it. And they let her do all her adventures, and then when it gets to a certain point, they have to intervene. She has to regenerate back. That's the only way I think you could explain the fugitive Doctor. I don't think it should go on for 20 years with her appearing for 5 seconds here, 20 seconds here, 5 minutes here. I think you really need to explain it that way. And that would be a way of, because I never considered her to be part of the Timeless Child storyline. It was always something separate. And it's funny how the Master was trying to prove to the Doctor that there's been doctors before her, yet he has no fucking idea who the fugitive Doctor was, and he's seen every single Doctor, so he doesn't have a fucking clue. Which means that she has nothing to do with that shit. She has nothing to do with the Timeless Child Doctor. She's not the first. So, or even before anybody. So, I think, do I think that Chris Chibnall will come back to write an episode of Doctor Who under Russell? I would say that's a 50-50 chance, yeah. Because I was told that he tried to get him back ready because they like it when one takes over, they want it to be where it's clean for them and they don't have to resolve anything, and that wasn't resolved. So I was told that he asked him to come to kind of resolve it, and he was busy at the time. Now, he did speak out recently on Twitter saying that, oh, you don't want me coming in there to write an episode, like, to show anybody up, meaning that he feels he's better than Moffat and Russell, and that he could write a banger episode like Boom did from Moffat. So that little thing is like between the three, and probably meaning that he will come when he's free and do an episode without having to worry about anything. And hopefully that is the Timeless Child reveal or Fugitive Doctor reveal, because it's not just going to be anything for him to come back. It has to do with him resolving his stuff. Yeah, they could even show what Master lost to the toy maker and got imprisoned, which is probably Sacha Dhawan's Master. So, do I think we'll see Sacha Dhawan's Master? Yeah, I think we will. I think we'll definitively see who's asked. We probably might see him after Missy. We might see that, how it went down or whatever it was. Do I think John Sim would return as the Master like the 14th Doctor? I've always believed that. I believe that if Sacha Dhawan's Master encountered the 14th Doctor and saw that he revisited a face and he was going to regenerate, he would purposely regenerate back into John Sim's Master to screw with the Doctor, because he's like, that's not fair. And he would do the same thing. He would revert back into John Sim as a future Master to screw with David Tennant's 14th Doctor. I 100% believe that in my heart that would happen. What's the chance of that happening? I would say 50-50 also. 50%. If I would do a special with the 14th Doctor and Donna, it would have to do with the Master because she knows the Master. He knows of her. He knows that she used the Metacrisis regeneration energy to kill all the other, to knock out all the other Masters that took over those bodies. So yeah, I would see that as a perfect Christmas special and an end to that trilogy of John Sim and David Tennant trilogy with the Master and the Doctor. So yeah, I'm praying for that. I'm hoping for that. I want that. Will it happen? 50-50 chance, I think. There you go. So I do wish that Doctor Who was as popular as they make Godzilla out to be now, because Godzilla's everywhere, and that would mean that Doctor Who would be everywhere. So Doctor Who was super, super popular like it was, from Russell Davis 1 into Stephen Moffat, and then it was all over New York and all these different stores, and everybody was a new Doctor Who fan. I wish it was that popular again. And I think it's going to be, eventually. I think it's going to be back into the stores that kicked them out. I think we're going to get new merchandise in Hot Topic. We're going to get new merchandise in Barnes & Noble. We're going to get new merchandise in Forbidden Planet. We're going to get all new stuff when they could do that. How would you do that? Well, season 3 on Disney Plus would be the key. Because now you already had 2 seasons. That would be the key to get merchandise out there. And again, get merchandise out there. Get the toys out there. Get stuff out there that's connected to Doctor Who. Bring the Daleks back and the Cybermen back. Bring the classic monsters back now. Forget about the God crap in season 1 and 2. Forget about that shit. But I would be open on one technicality. The technicality being, I was always against this theory. Always against this theory. But I love Sutekh. Did not love the second part, what he became. That's not Sutekh to me, that creature. I love Omega. Didn't like what he became. Didn't like that creature either. I would be okay with them putting into canon that the toy maker being a god from another dimension, and being that he gave the 15th Doctor and the 14th Doctor a reward by splitting the TARDIS, I would be okay with that theory of Sutekh being split. Just to keep Sutekh around. But the way I would have it as a writer would be that one Sutekh we saw, the other Sutekh would be in the 14th Doctor's TARDIS, and he would be massively depowered and looking like classic Sutekh, and do a 14th Doctor Donna Noble story, but during the time of the finale. So in other words, I would have it where you would show the clip of, Sutekh possessing, having a harbinger and all that, and then I would show Rose Noble on her iPad, not playing Candy Crush, but sending a message to her mother telling the Doctor, they jump in the TARDIS, take off. And then you would get the actress back from that planet because a man talked to that woman, gave her a spoon, and then she gave that spoon to the 15th Doctor. So that's what I would have it, and then I would have Sutekh emerge from his TARDIS, but looking like he did in, classic Doctor Who. Pyramids of Mars. That's what I would, there you go. So that's what I would have it. I would want justice for Sutekh and Omega, and I would also have it too, if it was up to me, that the reality war never ended, because it's the altered perception of reality. So what we saw was not reality. Billy Piper popping in there was not reality. We're in an episode called The Reality War. Reality skewed. So I would have the Ronnie in the antimatter universe. I would have Omega. I would have it all. So I feel that the actress playing the new Ronnie deserves to be the Ronnie again more often. I really like her, despite, I don't agree with the way she acted. Wade Russell made her out to be, but I still loved her performance, and I would love her to return. There you go. So, when you have something that good, you don't ruin it. You don't give it up, and you don't kill her off that fast. Sorry. And also, if Shooty Gatwa was doing a third season, if Ruby Sunday would have to be the companion the entire season, and she would have to be the daughter of a god. And again, if it was up to me, and you could use this as reference, but before we see what happens, I would have it that there's a story with her and the doctor, and her mother gets caught in the crossfire, and she fucking regenerates. That's right. That maybe she had a fucking chameleon arch or some shit. She's a Time Lord. She fucking gets her memories back. There's a part God, part Time Lord shit or something going on maybe with Ruby Sunday. That's what I would do. Either that or she's related to some god or something, or somebody used a god's DNA and cloned her or something, or some shit made her, and she's definitely special. She's definitely, her being a god would make sense that she could see that time is wrong and the doctor can't, when the doctor was always able to see to a point, because being a Time Lord when time was wrong. So him not knowing that time was altered, but her knowing it, would mean that she's a god. And she has that extra power and perception to be able to see that something's wrong. And I would also explain why he treated her like shit. That maybe he knows that she's partly a god, but didn't say anything. And he's kind of dismissing her like, you don't know what you're talking about, but he does know. Like, because I don't like it that they just disrespect her like that. I don't understand it. I don't like it. And I understand that whatever happened with the actress and then they fired her, but then they brought her back. Like, there's some kind of maybe bad blood a little bit on and off. Maybe it was mended, but there was still, you wrote it that way, obviously, that you're pissed at the actress. So you kind of treat her like shit in the writing for spite. And if that's the case, you would really have to explain that it's not a personal thing, that it's actually part of the story, that why he treated her like that. Because I can't see that you would let anger go into a script and then having the doctor treat his companion like fucking dog shit. I can't see that. So I would hope that gets resolved. Again, some of the stuff may never get resolved, but Ruby Sunday is a companion that people loved. She's popular. Fans wanted a resolution to her story. They didn't get it. They didn't get the proper send-off. They didn't get the proper anything. You can't just leave her out of it. You got to hire her back, even if it's for one episode. I would say the whole season. And again, as much as I like, Belinda, they fucked up her character with that whole Poppy thing, where now you made her a mother. That was not the fucking original timeline. That's complete bullshit. That's complete trash because, again, look at the episode. She's living with other fucking interns or whatever, with medical people. She wouldn't be living with them in their dorm if fucking she had a kid at home. That means her mother's taking care of her kid fucking for days? No. Sorry. Because she's eating in a fridge with different foods and she's taking their food. She wouldn't be as a mother living with anybody. So that's complete bullshit. Timeline's changed. But it's changed where it shouldn't have been changed. And you just can't explain shit about Space Baby and how the fuck that made sense because she's younger in the future, and then, all right, maybe you'll tie in that the daughter goes missing, and then she doesn't die, but then she just centuries of searching for a daughter, or I don't know, but I have no idea. I don't know what that was supposed to be meant to be, because it didn't turn out to be what it was meant to be, obviously. And we do know that they were supposed to be having a party or a birthday for the doctor, and they're dancing in a club, and he's shaking his thing like he did in the first episode that of the Christmas special when he appeared. So, like a full circle thing like that. But there was no regeneration. There was any of that shit. So, now I did think that Ruby was going to die, and I was wrong about that. Now, was she going to die in the original treatment and then brought back? I don't know. But it didn't happen, so I'm wrong in there. That was my opinion, though. I kind of felt that they were going to do some big moments. Maybe I'm giving them too much credit. That we would need to do an Earthshock moment to liven up Doctor Who and be like, oh my God, there's a sense of loss, because with the snap of a finger, magic is fucking going on everywhere, splitting TARDISes. Oh, I could fucking do this crazy shit, and now it's got to be ridiculous, where it's no longer science, it's just fiction, like ridiculous fiction, like just not even science fiction. It's fucking like Harry Potter ridiculous. So I want to go away from that. I don't want that nonsense. I want it to be back to science fiction. But I do think, get Neil Patrick Harris back as the Toymaker. Get Jinx Monsoon back as the Maestro. Yes, I'm open to that. Resolving it one more episode or whatever, fine. But we need the Daleks back. We need all the classic monsters back to build the brand. You don't shit. You don't create new things. You fucking, we've downgraded. The show is downgraded so much. You need to bounce it back to form, reset your settings, Daleks all the way. And that's what I have to say. So whether they do that or not remains to be seen, but the Daleks are needed in a big way. In a big way to fix this situation. 100%. Davros included, classic Davros, not even New Who Davros, not the bullshit we saw with the human Davros or the humanish Khaled, whatever Dalek. Davros. I'm talking in the chair apparatus, life apparatus. That's it. All right, and a sonic screwdriver returned properly. No Disney Plus telling them they got to change the sonic that way. Because by the way, that wasn't Russell. That was Disney Plus, because that's what it was told to me. So, even Marty had told me that he talked to Russell about that, and Russell's like, that's not me. So that was Disney Plus, obviously. All right. Thank you guys for watching me talking about Doctor Who again. I would rather talk about it when we have something to talk about, but we have a little thing. Peter Davison knows it. All right. The Real Whovians cast will continue from time to time, and the Everything Show. So, by me only. Take care. Bye for now.